Next, have stories ready. When I would go through these different questions to pretend that I'm going to be asked by the interviewer, I would have a story ready to reference in answering that question. And what I found is all of those questions that I get can be tied back to a handful of stories. I went to six. For me, that was my magic number. The six stories I had at the back of my head, they could answer any type of question I could get in an interview. And anytime I get a question, my answer would be, great question. Let me tell you about this one time when I worked this exact scenario that you're talking about happened. Here's how I dealt with it. And my answer would be, I dealt with it really well. Here's an example of my skills. Or my answer could also be honest. I dealt with it and it actually wasn't very well. And the outcome wasn't as great as I wanted it to be. However, that experience gave me these lessons learned. It shows them that I already learned my lesson on someone else's dime, but I'm bringing in these lessons learned as someone who's grown from that experience. So it's very candid. It uses stories to make the answers more memorable. Very easy way to stand out that way. And oftentimes, I'll notice that the interviewer reference my stories for their follow-up questions because they'll have questions that they want and they enjoy hearing the stories because it gives them the context. They want to know me a little bit better as a candidate. So let's say, thanks for that, Zizo. Based on your story, what would happen if XYZ? Or has this happened and how did you deal with that? Or how would you have dealt with that instead? So now the whole context of answering every question is in a story that I am comfortable in because it's a lived experience that I went through. It is my story that I'm very familiar with and its narrative, and it puts me in a position to come out with confidence and put my best self forward. Very powerful way to stand out. Have your stories ready.